Bonjour tout le monde, bienvenue à Parlons Soins, c'est Jay.
Moi, c'est qu'est.
Donc aujourd'hui, on reçoit encore Melanie.
Hi! We love Melanie!
Hey! Special episode. Mais dans le fond, c'est vraiment juste parce qu'on n'a pas eu le temps la dernière fois de dire tout ce qu'on avait à dire. On a vraiment parlé de son entreprise, le pourquoi elle a parti d'une entreprise. Mais cette fois-ci, on va vraiment plus parler du fait que c'est une infirmière en trauma à l'urgence. Donc ça, c'est la partie la plus intéressante, je pense.
Et après ça, elle va tester nos connaissances sur les codes de couleur.
Les codes de couleur.
Ah non, comment on dit?
Les codes d'urgence.
Les codes d'urgence. C'est des codes de couleur.
OK.
It's all colors, okay? It's the rainbow. Taste the rainbow. That's what it's about.
Merci, Mélanie.
Anyways, on va pas retourner vraiment sur ton background parce qu'on en a déjà parlé. Donc, si vous voulez avoir son background, allez à l'épisode 13.
J'aime qu'elle tient le verbe et comme...
Épisode 13, s'il vous plaît, tout le monde, dirigez vers là.
Est-ce que tu veux nous parler un petit peu du MGH, le ER surtout?
Yeah, so we're going to talk a little bit about the emergency in general because MGH is one emergency that I've worked at. I've worked at another one before. Basically, emergency, how it is like... Emergency is not your typical day. If you're looking for someone with routine,
do not go to ER.
Do not go to ER. You will never find a routine in ER. Never. Ever. It's high turnover. Your patient's going here, there, everywhere. You just got to make sure your patient is alive. Seriously, the honest to God truth. They come into the trauma bay. It's go, go, go. ABCs. But we actually, how trauma works is that we do C first. So ABCs is your airway, breathing, circulation. But we go circulation first, make sure, is there any active bleeding? And then we go back to the ABCs again.
Yeah.
Because us in trauma, it's bleeding, bleeding, bleeding. Are you bleeding? Like, where's the blood coming from type of thing.
What is the specialty in ER? Because I know gunshot wound is
gunshots. Trauma is gunshot wounds, stabbings. We do get like car accidents. We do get like any type of accident that's technically a trauma, or like we even get like attempted homicides, suicides, things like that. Those are considered trauma.
Yeah. Stabbing,
yeah.
Yeah, stabbing.
Il y en a plus que ce qu'on pense.
Ben oui. There's stabbings, but it's not like Philadelphia, it's not like Miami. But we do have them.
Je suis comme à ce point-là.
Ben oui, tu vois, have you ever been to Montreal North, man? It's like,
même au centre-ville,
Centre-ville,
dans le vieux
Montréal.
Montréal.
D'infirmière, j'ai eu un patient qui s'est fait stable.
But when you come to them, we get them. Not the other places don't get them. Sacré-Cœur might get them, but like they come to us mainly. So the thing is that like where I work is, first things first, I work with a wicked team. I'm going to give them another good shout out. I work with a wicked team. I've learned a lot for them over the time, and I've worked with in other departments where I've had a wicked team as well. So the thing is that when you work in emergency, you have to rely on your team. And the type of patients that we get in our emergency room in trauma, they're not your usual kosher, like, oh, I'm coming in for abdo pain type of thing. You'll get it every so often.
Yeah, of course.
Mais nous, c'est vraiment comme like who shot you type of thing. Doesn't happen as often as other cities, mais ça arrive. So we need to be prepared for, our security has to be tight.
Point, yeah.
If our security is not on tight, we don't have security. What if the shooter tries to come in and try to finish the job? What if somebody else is? You know what I mean? Like there's things that can happen.
And that's true.
What if that's the killer that we have? We don't know that yet. So security is a really big foundation to trauma. Emergency rooms in general. Because in any emergency room, when I used to work at another one, is a more community-based place, you still get like your domestic disputes.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean? So you would get we would get domestic issues. We would get but we would refer them out at a certain point. But, at the end of the day, I did get my DPJ cases with kids. I had a lot of things like that. So
I didn't get the same great experience in a community-based hospital. Yeah. I mean, I usually love security people, but them, when you call a code white...
No, our code white team is on point.
Like, they're looking at us. Like, you're expecting me to do something? Like, it's your job. Like, I have the medication, I'm ready to give it, but you need to stabilize the patient.
Non, sometimes we have to stabilize them.
Mais c'est ça, mais c'est pas normal parce que je suis pas supposée sauter.
Non, je me
Je suis
souviens
pas supposée être la première à essayer de restreindre un patient qui est
J'ai
violent.
déjà eu un code blanc.
Mais c'est ce que je te dis, mais c'est...
Puis c'est ridicule. C'est comme le temps que... Des fois, ils sont comme tout au rez-de-chaussée. Puis le temps qu'ils montent, t'es au 8e étage.
Ben ouais.
T'as pas de
Non,
sécurité.
mais dans ce temps-là, ça, c'est logique. Mais moi, je te parle vraiment dans une situation où la sécurité arrive, puis ils nous regardent.
Mais c'est ça.
Mais on est juste là pour... What? Est-ce que vous pouvez de-escalate la situation? Parce qu'en ce moment, comme moi, je peux pas
non, c'est déjà
gérer...
arrivé qu'une de nos infirmières, ils étaient censés, c'est chiant à dire, ils étaient censés tenir le patient pour donner un médicament pour calmer. Puis l'infirmière, elle s'est piquée. Elle s'est piquée avec lui parce qu'ils étaient pas capables de donner. Puis le patient était comme, là, c'est moi et tout et tout. Puis je suis comme, sécurité, c'est comme à un moment donné, vous êtes censé, sécurité du patient, mais c'est aussi...
Mais j'ai pas dit police, là, mais on s'entend que quand même...
c'est pas la police, on parle.
C'est pas la police, c'est vraiment des agents de sécurité. Mais tu sais, quand on parle de sécurité, je me dis, c'est pas juste protéger les patients, t'es aussi là pour protéger les employés. À un moment donné, c'était comme, mais on peut pas le tenir, on va lui faire mal. Je suis comme, mais dans ce temps-là, hello.
You're supposed to be trained. There's a CPI training course that's out that you should, and it's like kind of like a code white, how to deal with a violent person and self-defense. It's all combined. I got that course done. Like it's a great course. Like nurses get it, PABs get it, and security gets it. And plus they have their own, security has their own type of stuff. But
mais j'ai l'impression des fois les formations pour les codes d'urgence, c'est pas assez minutieux. Quand je me suis engagée dans un hôpital, le cours a duré, il y a à peu près une dizaine de codes de couleurs. Ça a duré 10 minutes, la formation. Là.
Ouais, bon.
Puis c'était comme, vous lirez le manuel
pamphlet.
ou vous ferez le 55-55. J'étais comme, thanks.
but us, like, when we have, like, the biggest codes that I've seen where I'm at is we get code whites, we get, there's surges that are code surge, which I don't think you guys have at other hospitals.
No.
We call it code surge when we have too many people in the hospital. I don't know the exact protocol, but basically it's instituted when we cannot fit any more people in emergency and we cannot admit any more up on the unit. Like we're full. So we technically call it code surge. So that's a code surge. We have, but I deal with code whites all the time. We have code blues every so often.
I'm sorry, when I was working
traumas.
at the MGH, almost every night.
But now, honestly, we have code traumas.
Yeah, no, definitely. There's trauma, there's code blue, but let me tell you, every day I was working, there was a code.
Yeah, for sure. It's like, and keep in mind, when there's a code blue, guys, it doesn't necessarily mean that people are doing a bad job.
No.
It just means that a patient's not doing well. Like people.
It happens.
It happens. Like it's a part of the job that we take. So it doesn't mean that somebody's not doing their job at all when you hear a code blue. It means somebody's just not doing well. You know?
Non, il y a des complications qui viennent avec les interventions.
Absolument.
Il y a tellement de chirurgie. Il y a des patients, ils vont parler à leur famille 1 heure, puis l'heure d'après, ils ont un arrêt cardiaque. Je veux dire, c'est pas des choses qu'on peut nécessairement prévoir à l'avance. Là.
Exactement. For the first time, actually, I had a woman. You know TPA. We had a patient that was on TPA for having a stroke. She had for the first time in my career, I had a patient on TPA that had a massive brain bleed. Like I'm not talking about I'm talking about massive after getting TPA for CVA. So it's things that it's the risk that you take, but it doesn't happen very often.
No, c'est
at
sûr.
all. It doesn't happen very often at all. But that's what makes emergency interesting. You know, like you'll see various. I've dealt with palliative, I've dealt with gynae, I've dealt with trauma, I've dealt with kidney failures, I've dealt with sepsis. You know, you see everything, everything. So it's a really good holistic field, but you're expected to roll fast because you're dealing, every patient that you're getting, they are in their acute phase. So everything that you learn in nursing school, how to reinforce dressings, how to do this, do that, like everything quick, like all acute measures, you're doing it on the job all the time. So that's the job you have to get ready for.
Mm-hmm. So what is a trauma nurse?
Trauma nurse, basically, we, like I said before, we're looking out for bleeding. We're like, okay, a lot of the times, like when we get traumas coming in, we have to see what their blood pressure is, what's their pulse. Like we want to make sure that they're not their blood pressure, see how much volume they have in a way, like to give us the amount of volume, to kind of give us the amount of force that's hitting onto the arterial walls. But we also want to see is their heart compensating. So sometimes you'll have a hypotensive patient, but not necessarily tachycardic. Why are they not tachycardic? Are they beta blocked? Are they not beta blocked? What could be going on? So or is it just because like it's just a fluke that they have a vasovagal and that's it? So I mean, we're a trauma nurse. The role is you go in, you put them on the monitor, you get their vital signs. If they're not already done, you get an IV ASAP. And we're not talking about this 22 gauge little thing.
Dans une petite veine qui éclate.
On parle des 18. Non, moi, nous, 16-14 on donne là.
Ouais, mais minimum 18, tu peux pas...
Ouais. The gauges are huge, what we give. And when you get one of our specific doctors coming in, he's like, put a 14. Okay. Like, it's like, you're like, okay. This guy loves to get us going with the big bores. And on top of that, we are using our level 1 machines like crazy. If you're not sure what a level 1 is, it basically pushes blood transfusions and like
c'est tellement amazing cette machine-là. Wow.
But you want to know what? For the first time ever, I was like, this is not going fast enough. Like for the first time ever, I was working on the level 1 and we were all kind of like waiting around because you want to know what the team is that good. The team is that good.
You're
we
that
were
efficient.
Like, so we're just waiting for the level 1 to finish. And it was after the first PRBC on top of it. So we were kind of, so it was like pretty cool. But yeah, we are TNCC trained or in training for.
What is TNCC so people know?
Trauma core, trauma core nursing. Oh, sorry, no. Trauma nursing core course. That's what it is. There we go. That's what TNCC is. It's a really cool course. I've read the manual and stuff. I'm in progress of getting that done. And but before that, I had my ACLS, which is Advanced Cardiac Life Support. ACLS was fun.
It is fun.
I love running an ACLS.
What is the full name?
Advanced Cardiac Life Support. Loved
it's a really
it.
Nice course. Yeah.
So this is when your patient is in code blue.
Arrête de faire cette face-là.
You don't like it.
I'm scared.
You're scared of that?
Oh, I love it.
It's so fun.
I'm like,
you're like, am I on meds or am I on charting or am I poking? What are we doing? Like that's.
Are you gonna do
that's
the
my
IO?
amazing. That's my amazed face. I'm like, damn.
Oh, it's fun.
No, it's fun.
It's like a movie. I'm like, where's the TV?
Let me tell you about a really cool scene that happened to me at work. So it was. And if you want to know what shit show is, I know what shit show looks like. Okay, there was a bunch of other things going on in the other section, but I was so busy focusing on my patient. But we had a woman that had a massive PE just suddenly, and we had to call a code REBOA and ECMO.
What is
basically
REBOA?
The ECMO team comes in to do ECMO on the patient in the trauma room, which is crazy. Like it's amazing. And it's super cool. This woman unfortunately didn't make it, but it was a really cool system, how it worked. So as I'm doing CPR on the patient, I see the two doctors on the femorals of the patient are laterally putting in the ECMO machine. I have all the monitor on her, the cardiac monitor and there's doctors at the feet trying to like help delegate the task. You got nurses behind me pushing the epi. You got another nurse on the other side charting. Got another nurse. We're like 4 nurses. I'm doing CPR machine. And I'm watching the scene.
And it's amazing.
I'm saying like, this is awesome. And everyone's like, are you tired? I'm like, nah, man. Like I'm amazed. I'm amazed by the team that's around me that's taking care of this one person trying to save their life. And it was the coolest moment ever because the team was working just super well together. Like everyone will say, oh, there was a little glitch here, a little glitch there. Listen, like we've saved lives with this type of method. Like it's crazy. So
The thing is, I think you need a good team. If you don't have a good team in those
But you need to be
unit, you're
you need to be well trained as well.
Yeah, but I think the team too.
Yeah,
Pas une bonne équipe.
définitivement.
Tu sais, comme elle a dit, tout le monde savait déjà qu'est-ce qu'il devait faire, puis c'était vraiment
mais
tout
des
le
fois,
monde
tout ça,
travaillait
c'est dans le
ensemble.
training aussi qui est pas fait. Parce que souvent, on va arriver, qui fait quoi? Mais c'est pas le moment.
Mais c'est
like,
ça, c'est des fois
you
quand
should know. Like, when I was working at the MGH, I was on the code. So, code blue, okay, I know I'm pager 1, so je sais que c'est moi qui va intervenir. Pager 2, you like, chart. So, everybody knows what they have to do when they come in the room.
Mais c'est ça, il faut que tout le monde sache son rôle. Parce que moi, quand j'ai eu un code à un moment donné en cardio, puis c'était vraiment ça, c'était vraiment rotation. OK, je suis fatiguée, puis tout de suite, paf, OK, je sais que si quelqu'un est fatigué, c'est moi qui la remplace tout de suite.
Exactly.
Puis ça, c'était vraiment comme, vraiment, c'est une machine qui est bien huilée. S'il y a une personne qui sait pas c'est quoi son rôle, tu t'as la personne.
Out.
C'est out. C'est comme...
Non, c'est vrai.
Puis le médecin, on dirait que les médecins, des fois, ils sont bons, qu'ils étaient fatigués. Vas-y, appelle-moi quelqu'un d'autre.
Oui,
faut vraiment que tu sois vraiment hyper vigilant.
Puis c'est important aussi, il faut vraiment être plusieurs parce que 2 minutes de massage cardiaque, c'est épuisant.
Déjà, pense pas, c'est
So le cardio, là, forget the treadmill, man.
Non, do CPR every day.
I told my trainers, as my goal is to do CPR for 2 minutes solid without breaking a sweat. You better work me hard, man. He knows it. Shout out Jonathan Williams. How you doing?
Mais ça fait comme, ça a l'air fatigant. C'est fatigant.
Non, c'est épuisant. C'est vraiment épuisant, là.
C'est pas quelque chose qui est facile. Donc, comment c'est facile? Tu fais juste appuyer.
Non, mais t'appuies fort, tu brises des côtes.
Oh, ben oui, j'ai une résidente qui, on m'en a en centre d'hébergement, puis, tu sais, le gars se sentait mal, c'était un infirmier, mais le gars était bif. Puis la madame était toute petite. Mais, tu sais, puis là, tu sais, là, on a entendu le cruc. Puis le point, c'est que.
Oh, yeah.
Ouais,
J'aime la face intéressante. J'aime la face des filles, les étudiants sont encore là.
Oh, it's not that part that hurts. It's the center, sweetheart. Right here.
Mais ouais.
Elle est en train de chercher.
She's like, ow. I'm like, no, it's here.
Mais c'est ça. Ouais. Là, l'affaire, c'est que, merci, la résidente est revenue. Mais ce qui était drôle, c'est pas drôle, mais en même temps, c'était drôle, c'est que la première chose qu'elle a dit en revenant, c'est comme, oh, tu m'as cassé, parce qu'elle le sentait. Puis le gars, il était comme, il sentait mal. Mais en même temps, c'est ça la job.
Ils ont brisé tu peux briser des dents en intubant.
Ben oui.
Tu brises tout. Comme à un moment donné, t'es comme, je la casse ou je la ramène à la vie.
Ben, c'est ça.
C'est la vie qui est plus importante.
But this goes back to the point of when families and curators are determining the level of care of patients. If you have a 99-year-old and she's a level 1, do expect that if we do CPR on her, guess how hard it is going to be for that woman to recover. Fine, we'll be able to save her life if we could. No problem. We'll do it. We're machines for that. But do you understand the road to recovery is going to be difficult? That is what people need to consider. Yeah. For us to do the job of saving her or saving the person it's a lot of the times we can do it. Like
it's how
she's gonna come back.
Exactement. Puis il faut pas oublier cette personne-là qu'on la réanime, elle va aux soins intensifs. Puis déjà, juste les statistiques d'un patient qui va aux soins intensifs tout seul, sans CPR, une journée dans un lit pour une personne âgée, c'est 7 jours de rehab. Fait qu'on se dit que...
Puis pas juste pour la réanimation, peu importe ce qui se passe.
Non, mais je rajoute la réanimation là-dessus avec les côtes brisées, des dents brisées ou quoi que ce soit, des traumas qu'on a causés pendant la réanimation cardiaque. I'm sorry, ça va être difficile de retourner à la maison.
Des fois, juste une chute. La personne, elle fait 3 mois à l'hôpital.
Exact.
Quand elle revient à la maison, c'est fini. Là.
Ben souvent, ils sont placés après.
Ils sont obligés d'être placés parce qu'ils sont comme, là, elle a juste chuté. Yeah, mais chuter quand t'as 15 ans, puis chuter quand t'as 95 ans, c'est deux choses. Histoire. Est-ce que là, c'était juste une petite chute? Non, ses os, ça fait 95 ans que ses os fonctionnent. À un moment donné...
It's very, very different. So people need to be very aware when you're doing the level of cares for their family members about this particular one. And if they say, okay, then no CPR, well, you do understand to get somebody off of a tube, intubation tube is very, very difficult. It's like if we're talking bones, okay, fine, bones will heal. Lungs, they don't heal the same way as bones.
Du tout.
So if you're going to intubate your 99-year-old grandmother because you don't. You need to think about that. Now, this is not to shame on anybody. This is the realities of what you're dealing with. Obviously, consult your physician and the nurse that you're with. But these are things that every family member should
talk about it. Yeah, you should take the time to talk about it.
Yeah, big time. And I feel that we need to be more open to that discussion, given the fact that I know it's already so damn hard to get time for that. But it is what it is.
Quand j'ai commencé à travailler aux soins intensifs, c'est la même chose. J'ai eu la discussion avec mes parents tout de suite. J'ai dit, you know what? I've never thought about it. Mais maintenant que j'y pense, je me suis dit, tu sais quoi, toi, tu veux quoi et toi, tu veux quoi?
Parce que pour moi, j'ai déjà dit, si je me casse quelque chose puis je suis dans le coma...
Non, mais moi, j'ai dit ça depuis l'âge de 15 ans. J'ai dit, moi, si je suis pour être paraplégique, j'ai dit à ma mère, tu me débranches. Elle m'a dit, quoi, tu peux pas faire... J'ai dit, non, je suis sérieuse, je vais être malheureuse parce que je me connais personnellement, mentalement.
Ouais, c'est vrai. C'est vrai.
Mais ça revient à un truc, comme tu as dit, c'est pas pour mettre du shame sur personne. C'est toujours ce que la personne veut versus ce que la famille veut.
Exact.
La famille, c'est compréhensible. Tu veux que ta grand-mère reste, tu veux que ta mère reste avec toi. Mais dans quelles conditions elle va rester? Est-ce que si elle avait toute sa tête, toutes ses fonctions cognitives, est-ce qu'elle aurait été d'accord avec toi que tu la maintiens dans cet état-là?
Exact.
Puis des fois, il y a des patients pour travailler en centre d'hébergement, c'est une discussion qu'on a souvent. Quand il y a eu la pandémie, là, c'était une des pires discussions qu'on avait eues avec les résidents. On a eu, je pense, la personne, il y en a une madame qui avait 105 ans, là. Puis on était comme, quel niveau de soins? C'était comme, niveau 1. Là, tout le monde se regardait.
Mais j'ai eu une patiente aussi, 100 ans, même chose.
Ça, tout le monde se regardait. C'était comme...
On l'intube ou on l'intube pas? On a demandé à la famille.
Ils ont dit
Ils veulent l'intuber.
Ouais.
C'est ça.
Puis la madame, elle nous disait vraiment, c'était tout le temps du « Leave me alone, leave me alone ». Puis elle était vraiment comme « Oh, leave me alone ».
Elle était alerte orientée?
En plus? Cette madame-là, je vous garantis, là, j'ai jamais vu quelqu'un de 105 ans et j'ai encore... Non, j'ai plus mon bleu. Elle faisait des bleus, genre.
Elle avait de la force.
Ah ouais, elle avait de la force. C'était vraiment comme leave me alone, genre. Puis elle voulait juste qu'on la laisse tranquille.
Ben oui.
Tu sais, grâce à Dieu, elle a passé son COVID, puis elle était comme, I'm still there.
Yo, she's a tank. I got respect for this woman.
Yeah, of course.
Non, sérieux, c'est notre vétérante, là. Elle est revenue du COVID, puis elle était comme, I'm still there. On était comme, yeah, you're still there. Moi, je regardais mon bleu, puis j'étais comme, yeah, you're still there. Thanks for that. Comme, it's not me. I'm like, yeah, it's not you, it's okay. Mais cette fois, ça ramène, la pandémie, ça ramène à ça que, qu'est-ce que toi tu veux, qu'est-ce que la famille veut. Puis c'est un truc qu'en trauma, j'imagine que vous avez tout le temps ce genre de discussion-là, non?
So the discussion in trauma, a lot of the times, yes, we do get our anticoagulated elderly patients that are falling, and then we have to discuss that. But another really important factor that we're discussing a lot is, you know, we're discussing level of care for people that are not supposed to be dead yet, in the sense that they're not old. Some of these
ça,
people
les traumas, souvent, les patients sont beaucoup plus jeunes.
Sont beaucoup plus jeunes. Puis ça, c'est l'affaire que je comprends pourquoi c'est mélangeant pour les familles ou du monde qui a besoin de faire des décisions. Ça, je comprends. Parce que when you know that it's your son or daughter coming in that's in their 30s shot, and we're in the process of doing a ACLS protocol, we're doing code blue, that's a tough discussion, right? That's not an easy not an easy thing, and that's not what people that's not what you expect, right? And that's not not many people are like us and had this discussion when they were young, you know, like at the end of the day, like these discussions are a little bit trickier, and they're like, you know, this is the predicament. But again, it's the team that you work with. It's the doctors that are there. It's the nurse in charge. We're all there to help when it comes down to and guide the family into making the proper decision, because we always go based on the prognosis, and the doctors communicate a lot with the nurses so that somebody goes back to the patient with something, because the family members with something, because at the end of the day, when we're talking about deciding a level of care for when we're deciding a level of care for a trauma patient, it's not the same as when we're dealing it with your typical kidney failure patient. Traumas, it's not supposed to be happening. Like one time I worked on a kid, it was one time you were working on a kid, and of course we're going to do everything for the kid, right? But
non, mais c'est pas facile mentalement. Je trouve que c'est difficile quand t'as des patients qui sont jeunes, qui décèdent. Il faut vraiment prendre une minute puis aller respirer.
Ben oui.
Surtout quand tu perds le patient. It hurts.
But what I want to bring up really quick, and I think this is so important, because when we're talking about traumas, with nurses and doctors and med students and PABs and security guards go through vicarious trauma. And students are going to learn more about this, and I think that it should be taught a little bit more in school.
Je suis tout à fait d'accord.
Amen.
Like vicarious trauma, if you all don't know what vicarious trauma is, it's a trauma that you watching somebody go through. So the patient is going through their trauma, the family is going through their trauma, but we are going through a secondary trauma where we're looking at the trauma of somebody else. That is called vicarious trauma. I'm sorry, at the end of the day, if I have a colleague that I work with that's telling me that's like, oh, I don't need to go therapy, forget therapy and this and like that. Okay, that's fine. Find other ways to deal with it. But like, it's so important to take care of yourself mentally. Like, take the time for you as much as possible. And listen, every so often, I'll go to do a therapy session, and I'm not afraid to say that, because you want to know, at the end of the day, I see more gunshots, stabbings than a gangster himself at sometimes. You know what? At the end of the day,
You're the gangster then.
Yo! He's like, yo, I got shot. Not impressed. Not impressed. But it's like, it's very important that we take care of ourselves when we're dealing with these types of things. And even when you're on the floor, you're dealing with cold blues. Cold blues are scary as shit.
Yo, yeah. Let me tell you.
You have a dead person that you're smacking on. Like it's scary. And the pressure is on for you as much as you have a team around you. And some places you don't really have that.
Mm-hmm. Nope.
You got to be real.
Exactement.
I'm blessed where I'm at.
Non, c'est ça.
I've been blessed.
Mais c'est ce que je mentionne. J'ai été souvent dans d'autres hôpitaux que les codes n'étaient pas aussi efficient que quand je travaillais au MGH. I brought it up when I... Whatever. Mm-hmm. And mais j'ai dit, regarde, je pense qu'on devrait faire ça. Je trouvais que c'était des bonnes idées. Je trouvais que ça rendait ça super efficace pour une raison X et autre.
Absolutely.
Puis they just, whatever, undermined me, but I don't care. That's your problem. You're dealing with your codes. I'm not going to stay in your hospital forever. Mais moi, je vais juste vous dire que pour rendre un code plus agréable et plus efficient, we should do that.
Of course, like at the end of the day, everyone should have a role, and whoever you're beefing with at the end of the day at work, if you got a cold blue, your beef don't matter.
No, it doesn't matter.
Your beef don't matter.
Tu devrais pas l'amener. C'est la vie du patient qui est importante. C'est pas ton beef avec la personne.
Exactly.
Mais des fois, il y a du monde qui sont pas capables de le faire.
Non, ça c'est sûr.
Mais that's when you say get out. No,
yeah.
Seriously.
You say get out, and maybe you need therapy regarding like how you cope with your emotions at work.
Parce qu'on ça devient égoïste. C'est comme c'est la vie du patient qui est en jeu. Puis, I'm not gonna work with her.
Non,
somebody else.
Non, mais j'ai trop souvent entendu ça, puis je trouvais que c'était désagréable. Ça se fait pas. J'ai déjà vu ça. Se fait pas.
Yeah, I've never worked with anybody where like I was in that predicament, which is like I'm blessed, and I've never seen that predicament like where I'm at right now. I've seen it elsewhere, unfortunately, but I have not. But you know, at the end of the day, like. Your team, you can have, because I'll give you an example. We hired a lot of nurses recently, and a lot of them are, learning how to deal with cardiac rhythms. They're learning how to deal with traumas. Not of them all are trauma trained, but they're able to chart. So we give them a role so that they get involved. And if they're like, oh, I'm anxious, the nurse in charge is there. Another experienced nurse is there to guide them through the process.
Which makes sense.
It's mentorship. It's like, we want them to grow and get better. We need a strong team. Like that's like all the time they're like, where do I get this? Where do I get that? And it's fine because they need to know.
Non, c'est certain.
They need to know. They don't work the trauma room, but they're like, what is the role of the nurse here? What is the role of the nurse inside the room? And keep in mind, COVID changed this big time for us. This increased our quota for nurses during codes like significantly. So
let's play a little game. Would you rather?
Sorry.
Oh God.
What do you mean?
Elle.
Would I rather? Oh, I can't wait.
Travailler dans un CLSC ou un CHSLD?
CLSC.
Oh, really?
Yay.
Why?
CHSLD. Okay. I worked in nursing school at the CHSLD. That, and I worked at private residences. It was an experience. Not my cup of tea, though.
Which is okay.
Not something that I like. But I prefer CLSC because already right now my business is kind of in community.
Makes sense.
So
it makes sense.
But we would provide help for the CHSLDs and the private residences.
Oui, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Deuxième, un patient agité, confus ou super anxieux qui pose plein de questions 50 fois.
Agité, confus.
Yeah, agitated and confused. Like, let's say an overdose. He's agitated, he's confused.
Overdose. I take the overdose for 500. I take the overdose for 500.
Over the anxiety. You're a trauma nurse for sure. I'm a trauma nurse.
Because I deal with overdoses all the time, or when they come up, they're like, or Adderall dose. When somebody takes Adderall, and they're like, what's going on? Okay, and then there's the anxious one. I can handle the anxiety. I have done that before, but I'm a Narcan girl. Like,
on dit OD.
Yeah.
Puis, blood or urine?
Blood.
Ok, c'est trauma pour de vrai.
Yeah.
C'est vraiment de trauma. J'ai fini avec ça.
I'd rather take blood as well.
Yeah.
Moi aussi.
Like urine. Imagine if it smells like UTI. No.
Oh, it doesn't work like that, sweetheart. You have so much to learn.
Dis-la rien.
Do you want to talk a little bit about Code Orange?
Code Orange. So, a Code Orange is something that we do not see very often in Montreal, but it last one that has truly happened, that was a true, real, hardcore oranges, was the Dawson shooting. Mm-hmm. And code orange is basically where you have an external disaster where you're getting a mass amount of patients coming in to the emergency room. Mm-hmm. This could be an airplane crash. This could be a shooting. This could
comme le train au lac Mégantic, là. C'était pas à Montréal, mais...
Exactly.
C'est une catastrophe. Code orange, c'est des catastrophes.
C'est des catastrophes à l'extérieur,
C'est
exactement.
l'extérieur.
Non,
ça, c'est pandémie.
Unless que COVID, qu'est-ce qui se passerait, c'est que dans la pandémie, c'est qu'on se retrouve avec plein de personnes contaminées en même temps, avec plein de symptômes, puis qu'il y aurait trop de gens qui rentrent en même temps dans les hôpitaux. Mais là, même là, c'est comme...
But even at that, I wouldn't even... That's not a real code orange even at that point. It's... A pandemic is like, right now we're technically controlled. So, but... a code orange is basically when we have external disasters. So every hospital has a different protocol for this, but what the general aspect of how this should work is that if depending on what the code orange entitles. So for example, if there's a shooting, if all the trauma surgeons should be coming in, all the PACU nurses, recovery room nurses,
everyone that's on call
nurses. More. No, not on call.
Even more.
Yeah. Okay. Everybody gets a call. Everybody gets a call.
Off, they're calling them.
Exactly. You're off. You're getting a call. Listen, we have a code orange. We need you to come in. Mm-hmm. This is a real reason to call people in. If you're gonna have a code orange, this is the reason why you call people in. It's not because we're short staffed because we didn't schedule our stuff right. No, this is like we all hands on deck type of thing. We need as much as possible. So they call all the nurses, all the PBs. They call our bosses. They call the head offices of whatever institution they're at. Mm-hmm. They call everybody, and everyone comes in, and we triage a very specific way depending on the type of code orange we have. So yeah, it's shootings is very common for code oranges, unfortunately. But yeah, that's how it works.
Did you live one?
Kind of. There was a recent one that I was a part of. But it wasn't it was a code orange, but not a true code orange. How do I explain? I don't know. To be honest with you, I don't understand the protocols of what makes it 100% a code orange versus not.
J'ai Googled quickly just by curiosity, puis ils ont dit c'est plus que 6 personnes. Je suis comme that's nothing. It's a car accident.
Yeah.
Fait que là je suis comme 6 personnes involved dans un.
Yeah, I guess it depends on the institution and what they've established and everything. But we did have a mass amount of people, 5 patients coming in at the same time because of a shooting. And everything went so smooth. It's like, go on to the next. One goes to the operating room, one goes here, one goes there. And it's like...
How do you triage?
Triage is very quick. GSW, this is it. Or stabbing, intox of like... aerosol, it's very, very simple. We try to find the answers later, and because we do the simple triage and we declare them a P1 depending on the gravity, or let's say for example we have a priority 2, priority 3, but they'll come in and they'll start charting. So we'll say, okay, we found a gunshot wound here, we found a stabbing here, we found in smoke inhalation, things like that. So
c'est vraiment straight to the point.
Yeah, we get straight to the point. We don't start saying this happened at around this time and we look for a story.
No, en ce moment, c'est tu saignes, OK, je patch, je vais voir l'autre.
C'est pas le temps de faire ta collecte de grosses données.
Non.
C'est quoi ton dernier repas?
Ben, c'est ça. C'est quoi ça? As-tu des allergies? C'est comme, it's like, are you allergic to anything bad? Now? Like, tell me now. And it's like, no, okay, on to the next. Like, it's like... Straightforward stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
So did you get trained for that, or do you feel like ACLS and trauma is
It's kind of around there, but I mean, it's just a code orange. The way I kind of experienced it was trauma on Adderall. Okay. It goes fast. Mm-hmm. It rolls so fast because you got another one to care for. Okay, we stabilize. We know what's going on with this patient. Okay, get him to CT scan. This guy doesn't need operating room right away. Okay, go to the next. Okay, this guy has a bunch of stabbings here, has a this there. Okay, now we got to make sure that he's okay. Okay, well, this is not going so well. You know what? Forget CT scan. Let's go straight to the OR. Right. So we are looking at the blood pressure a lot.
Yeah.
A lot. What's his heart rate? What's his blood pressure? What's his heart rate? What's his blood pressure? Why is his O2 sat going down? Like, why? And we have an RT at the bedside as well. Shout out to RTs. Yes. RTs need to get much more credit for what's due.
On en a besoin de plus dans les hôpitaux.
Oh, do we ever? Oh, do we ever?
Yep. Donc, RT, c'est Respiratory Therapist, inhalothérapeute. Donc, juste pour ceux qui ne savent pas. Puis, I wanted to know, just to like, conclude this episode.
Pour les codes de couleur aussi, on en a dit beaucoup aujourd'hui. Donc, code blanc.
Ah oui, code blanc, c'est violent.
C'était les patients qui étaient violents. Code bleu, c'était les arrêts cardio-respiratoires.
Code rose, c'est pour les bébés, arrêt cardio-respiratoire.
Code jaune, c'est ce qu'on entend le plus souvent dans les centres d'hébergement.
Patients qui disparaissent.
Ça, j'en ai quasiment une fois par semaine.
Code brun, c'est pas
code
important.
Code noir, c'est...
Code noir, c'est les
c'est la bombe. C'est important.
Code noir,
non, le brun, c'est les...
Non, le noir, je crois. Le brun,
code,
jamais su c'était quoi.
Code brun, c'est des...
gaz.
Ouais, non, mais...
A gas or
oui.
like a toxic substance.
Oui, qui est libéré. Ouais.
Like a bad chemo that's fell on the floor type of thing.
Code noir, on en a déjà eu un à l'hôpital.
Code noir?
Ouais.
Where? Ah non, t'es pas
avait-
obligé de dire où.
Non,
Quelqu'un a
mais
laissé
ça
un
avait-
paquet qui était suspect.
So, quelqu'un est rentré dans la cafétéria, il a laissé il a juste marché. C'était vraiment suspect.
OK, il a juste déposé puis il est parti.
Il a laissé le sac. Puis après
my
ça, on a
God.
eu un appel à la sécurité. Comme quelqu'un qui a dit, j'ai laissé une bombe dans mon sac.
Oh my God!
Je te garantis, t'as entendu code noir à la cafétéria. Là, j'étais comme... tu sais, le premier réflexe, c'était comme, merci Seigneur, je suis pas allée manger à la cafette aujourd'hui.
Mais là, t'espères que t'es pas en haut?
Puis après ça, je suis comme...
Est-ce que tu peux
Mais
sortir?
justement, quelqu'un m'a dit comme, Cass, si ça explose, ça explose. Là, j'étais
C'est
comme,
ça.
damn. Puis finalement, c'était un prank.
Are you
It
serious?
was a prank. Cette personne-là s'est fait poursuivre.
They
Ouais,
better
oui,
have.
for sure.
Ils l'ont retrouvé.
En tout cas.
Tu sais, le truc du burner phone, genre, c'est faire un prank comme ça,
my
achète un
God.
burner phone,
Ouais, c'est
genre.
ça.
Puis elle s'est fait tracer super vite, cette personne-là.
Oh my
mais
God.
c'était mon premier code noir et j'étais comme...
Je pense que ça peut être le dernier aussi, c'est correct.
J'espère, parce que c'était pas...
That's freaking
Moi, j'étais
annoying.
comme... Tu sais, la fois, c'est comme, OK, il faut peut-être commencer à évacuer les patients. Et, tu sais,
Oui, mais c'est pas si facile que ça.
T'imagines évacuer les patients
Déjà
qui
quand
ont-
il y a des codes rouges pour le feu, je suis
Ouais.
comme, je mets les patients où? Ils sont intubés.
Ah!
Puis nous, on est les derniers à sortir parce que justement, c'est des patients intubés puis c'est les derniers levels. Puis là, je suis comme, merci.
Sur le code rouge, tu l'as dit, c'est
Ouais, c'est les
le
incendies.
feu, c'est les incendies. Puis le code rouge qui est plate, c'est qu'en centre d'hébergement, il y a tout le temps des simulations. Tu t'imagines sortir tous les résidents?
Bon, moi, il marche. Puis il y en a qui sont en chaise roulante.
Ouais, puis ceux qui sont
Tu veux faire des simulations avec des intubés?
Je préférerais.
What? Non, you don't.
Parce que
Juste
des intubés peuvent pas te lancer les marchettes.
Non, mais parce qu'il faut que tu sortes
How
avec un
many tubes
respirateur
you-
que tu peux transporter. C'est vraiment compliqué.
Mais je préfère compliqué que me faire balancer une marchette sur la tête, crois-moi. Les personnes âgées, quand ils veulent te lancer quelque chose, ils
Tu
vont te
risques de
lancer...
brûler dans l'hôpital. C'est ça que tu comprends pas. Tu risques de brûler dans l'hôpital. Vaut mieux se lancer une marchette.
You know, see, nous, we have a code yellow, a code white stat, which is a code white with a violent patient with a weapon, which we've had. And we had a code silver, which is a gun.
C'est vrai, il y a lui aussi.
Il y a le code mauve aussi qui a été
Oui,
appliqué.
je
Ça,
sais pas.
c'était-
Code mauve, je pense, that's a
C'est une
family
urgence.
member.
Non, c'est une urgence. C'est une urgence médicale, mais qui n'est pas un code du style.
Parce que c'est vrai, il y a beaucoup de gens qui ont lancé des codes bleus, qui étaient pas des vrais codes bleus.
Merci.
Mais
c'est genre
ça
un
change à chaque
pre-code.
hôpital parce que moi, j'ai entendu une autre affaire pour code mauve, là.
C'était quoi?
C'était an emergency in general with, could be a family member, could be...
Ouais, mais c'est bien que tu aies dit que chaque qui l'a dit, j'ai oublié, que chaque place a des codes différents.
Ouais.
Quand tu passes de l'hôpital au CLSC, c'est l'enfer. Parce que code bleu à l'hôpital, c'est un arrêt cardio-respiratoire. Code bleu au CLSC, quelqu'un s'est blessé. Sur moi, non,
OK, mais parce que code bleu,
Qui est génial qui a fait ça?
Non, bleu, c'est
sérieusement.
universel.
Non, mais pour de vrai, c'est pas intéressant.
Non, c'est universel.
Surtout
c'est
quand
pas-
ils te le disent pas.
Ouais.
Parce que moi, la première fois que j'ai entendu code bleu au CLSC, j'ai pris le chariot de code. j'ai
Ben
pris
oui,
le
j'aurais
deux.
cru,
Puis
moi
moi,
aussi.
j'étais sûre que quelqu'un a fait un shot vagal. J'étais tellement pisse. Je pense que j'ai goûté.
Lift your legs up and call it a day. Walk away.
Là, c'est comme, mais pourquoi t'as amené le DE? C'est pourquoi t'as amené le défibrillateur? Je suis comme, t'as dit code bleu. Comme personne t'a dit que c'était urgence médicale? J'étais comme.
Oh my God. Non, mais ça, c'est pas bon parce que
Ben,
c'est
urgence
universel.
médicale,
c'est
it could
universel.
require a damn
Mais
code
c'est pour ça
card.
qu'ils sont en train de justement tout uniformiser
Ouais, parce que
maintenant. De plus en plus, là, tous les
disons-
centres vont avoir les mêmes codes parce que c'était pas intéressant, ça. Moi, je courais, là, j'étais prête.
Ben oui. So, to finish, est-ce que tu pourrais dire aux futures infirmières qui aimeraient travailler en trauma, ER, qu'est-ce qu'elles devraient faire ou
It is
c'est leur
such,
qualité, qu'est-ce qui
Elle
est
regarde,
bien?
elles sont comme, intéressées.
honestly, it is such a fun place. Do not be scared by it. If you work with a good team like I do, you're gonna have a blast because it's adrenaline rush. I'm an adrenaline junkie, and it's an adrenaline rush. So make sure that you will have to master finding like the calm within the chaos. That's my 2 cents with that. You have to find the calm within the chaos. So if you have to be very confident in yourself and confident in your knowledge, and have people around you that will boost your confidence. And coming fresh out of nursing school, this is something that I don't recommend right away.
Trauma, no.
Trauma, I don't recommend right away.
But
I did it though.
ER is a great experience though.
I came out into the Shark Tank right away, and because I just saw that's what I saw myself doing. But keep in mind that when you're getting into the field of emergency, you're going to be on your tippy toes all the time. Mm-hmm. So just get ready for that, and don't hesitate to ask questions.
Always c'est pour tout le monde qui commence là, pose des questions parce que vous allez vous faire taper sur les doigts, vous allez faire des erreurs. Si vous posez des questions, ça évite beaucoup de complications.
Exactement.
So, si vous voulez rejoindre Mélanie, on va le répéter encore, même si l'épisode 13, vous auriez dû l'écouter.
J'aimais le vous auriez dû.
Sur Instagram, c'est Melanie Jade B.
Nurse Melanie Jade B.
Yeah, it's true. Sorry. And then your agency is Nurse... nurse... Oh, Jesus, I can't talk today.
Nomadic Nurse Agency.
You. And c'est ça. Puis pour nous, ben, vous savez déjà, c'est @parlons.soins sur Instagram. Donc,
Twin Nurse sur YouTube.
Oui, Twin Nurses sur YouTube. Puis nos vidéos sont sorties à chaque samedi, 11h. Donc, on se revoit la semaine prochaine. Bye!